I'm at the range today with the Angstadt Arms P9 9mm PDW. This is an AR-15 platform, at least ergonomically speaking, with magazine release, bolt hold open, safety, pistol grip, etc. However, it's actually an MP5 style delayed roller blowback action. So this is not just direct blowback, this is delayed blowback with an MP5 style bolt, meaning you get the benefits of delayed roller with the ergonomics of an AR-15. So as I said, this is an MP5 style delayed roller blowback system, but in an AR-15 ergonomics platform. Takes standard Glock mags, extendos, and I've got both Glock mags and Magpul mags today for testing. It does have the normal mag release extended, and of course it has a bolt hold open as an AR-15 would and a standard AR-15 safety. Now that said, it does not have the HK style lock back here, so we can't do the HK slap. A little bit of a bummer there, but we do have a standard AR-15 bolt hold open, so that's cool. Let's go ahead and show you the takedown. Of course, it's just like an AR because it pretty much is an AR with just a different locking system or delay system. Open that up, and then the recoil spring assembly is right here. Push that down, bring that out, and your entire bolt comes out just like that. There it is. That's the entire takedown of the gun. You can then, of course, get to the barrel for cleaning, and you can see here you have your recoil spring assembly, your bolt carrier, and your MP5 style roller system right here in an AR-15 platform. That's pretty cool. One of the things that delayed roller really provides over just standard blowback is a much better recoil impulse and much more controllable gun, especially in full auto, but also in semi-auto. And in that regard, I think using the push sling method will be more effective with this than it would be with a direct blowback that tends to be a little bit more spicy with its recoil impulse. So to put the gun back together, just go ahead and pull the bolt forward. Put it back in. And then let's see what we got here. Lock the spring back in. I got it. Like that. Close it up. Push the pin. And you are ready to go. So far I've had absolutely zero issues with this gun and zeroing it with the red dot. But of course it's a pistol. And so what I wanted to do today is something I've never done before, which is attempt to use this like the SAS did during the Iranian Embassy Siege with their MP5s with the push sling method. Now, back then they had a flashlight and focused the flashlight to the point of aim, then used a sling tightly around their body, and when they push and pull, meaning they push forward and the sling pulled back, it tightened the gun up and gave them stability sufficient to engage accurately.
Basement clear.
Now, this is of course semi-automatic, but I have a red dot sight, which is better than a flashlight, but we're engaging targets today out past 100 yards, 125 yards and in. So also through some unique and unusual positions, which the push sling lends itself maybe when you're standing, but what about under a barricade or kneeling or things like that? So what I'm going to do today is use this Angstadt Arms UDP-9 MP5 delayed blowback system with a push sling and a red dot through 3 courses of fire and see if I can use the push sling effectively enough to actually hit these targets at 125 yards and in. Never done this before, so it's new to me. It's a new skill set entirely. But I can't imagine that the SAS would have used it if it didn't work. Let's find out.
So these targets are at 50 yards. One is a Q target and one's a mini Q. And this is my first time ever truly attempting to use a push-pull sling on the clock. I mean, I practiced slightly before this, just getting a 0, but you can see here that I'm getting hits quite reliably for my very first attempt. And this really surprised me. This method does absolutely work, and I think that with more practice it would only get better. So this is why AR-15s are the ergonomic masters of the universe. You'll see this reload here is much faster than it would be on an MP5, and this is something the UDP-9 brings to the table, but with delayed roller blowback.
That is better than I thought it would be. Actually, it's not that bad. It's just shot-to-shot recovery slow.
Were you doing push-pull?
Yeah.
So here's some of the first unusual position shooting. I had to get essentially kneeling underneath the stick. You have to fire all rounds beneath the stick. I wanted to see if push-pull would work there. No problem at all. Here's around the barricade. As you can see, also no problem at all. But in a moment, we're going to go to prone, and I made a bit of a mistake. So you'll see here that I go prone and I try to monopod on the magazine and the gun's just bouncing around quite violently, and that's because I wasn't applying tension on the sling. You'll see I tension up on the sling here right there, and things get a little better. This is really just a training mistake because I've never actually done this before, using a push-pull sling, and I thought that monopoding on the magazine would be effective, but honestly just applying tension to the sling was the better answer. So this engagement is at 125 yards-ish, and you'll see it takes me a little bit to get dialed in, but just using push-pull sling, I ultimately do get the hits, and as we move through the stage and get a little closer, you'll see that it gets easier. But with a little training, once again, this is totally effective, even at reasonably longer distances.
Clear. Load show clear. Hammer down.
Once I pushed hard enough, it was actually possible to get the hits. You have to stabilize, push real hard, then press. And it worked. All 3 stages with the Angstadt arms, I had 0 malfunctions whatsoever. Here's what I've kind of come to the conclusion about. The push sling, or the push-pull method, is actually far more effective than I would have given it credit for. Now that I've actually tried it, this is truly viable. Is it as good as a stock? Absolutely not. Is shot-to-shot recovery not as good? Absolutely not. However, if you are in very confined space and you don't even have room for even a collapsing or folding stock, this will do the job. I reliably, once I figured it out, got hits past 100 yards with this little PDW using just this sling method, and once I got the hang of it, was effectively getting hits really without much effort, as you probably saw in the video. The big thing that I came to conclude with this is that even prone, the big issue is push harder than you think you might want to. It comes up easy. It's not hard to find the dot. That's not a problem whatsoever. I'm actually using this charging handle to press against, to push forward with. And if you're pushing really hard and stabilize the dot and then press the trigger, you get the hit. Slow down slightly, push harder than you think you need to, get the dot on the target, hold it there, and then have follow through with the pressure you're applying with the sling, and you're gonna get the hit, as you saw through my stages. Now, really, I'm very impressed. I'm impressed not only with this gun, which has run incredibly reliably, and I would say that the advantage of the reduced recoil impulse, as is seen with a delayed roller blowback system, such as the Angstadt arms or an MP-9, lends itself to this push sling method than maybe something else would that might kick more. Now, this would be an interesting thing to try on like a 5.7 PDW because even less recoil, right? But this 9mm, if you get into it and really do that push-pull thing where the sling pulls back and you push forward, it stabilizes far more than I thought it would have, and I have to say, it's an effective method. As for the gun ran perfect. I had no issues with it whatsoever, but here's a couple tips or tricks for you if you're going to use one of these. It does not have the HK hold open lock on the action. So if the action is locked open, you can insert a fully loaded magazine without any issue whatsoever, and then use the standard AR or bolt hold open or bolt release to chamber the round. However, if you're going to insert a magazine on a closed bolt, for example, a proactive reload or administrative reload, I would recommend downloading your magazine by 2 rounds because these Glock magazines and the Magpul magazines are just enough pressure that trying to get it seated and get it in there to stay is actually quite challenging. So by downloading by 2, inserting it on a closed bolt isn't that big a deal. Insert it, smack it, tug. Trying to do that on a fully loaded magazine where it's loaded to its capacity was very difficult. Now, that is part of the reason, frankly, that the MP5 mechanism, or the, I should say, manual of arms, states that you would lock the bolt hold open, and then with an HK you would lock it this way. With this, of course, you need 2 hands to do that manually, which makes it not viable on this gun. So either load with a fully loaded magazine on a bolt that is locked open, or if the bolt is closed, I would recommend all of your reloads are downloaded by 2, so that you can insert it, smack it, tug, and make sure that it's properly inserted. Other than that, I think this is a hit of a gun. This PDW, this MP5 style delayed roller blowback system with AR-15 ergonomics in a platform that's lighter than the MP5 is really a winner. Angstadt Arms knocked it out of the park with this. I do want to say that they did ship this to me for me to do a T&E on. I did not buy this, so in full disclosure, this was provided to me for you for this video. I did not buy it. However, I really do like it, and you know here on InRange, we don't give good reviews or any sort of spit and polish for anything that doesn't deserve it. And so far, my experience with this Angstadt Arms is thumbs up. Good work. Guys, if you like this sort of content, this stuff, besides the gun, of course, all the ammunition, magazines, time out here, editing, etc. is all provided because of Patreon supporters, viewers like you. No sponsors, no overlords, including Angstadt Arms. Only you, the viewer. If you'd like to support InRange, you can find me at patreon.com/InRangeTV. You're the only reason we're still here, and the reason we're able to do the kind of content that we do here on this channel, independent of YouTube's algorithm, AdSense, or any overlords, or any sort of sponsorship. Thank you for keeping this channel alive. Thank you for watching. If you can't support us there, please just subscribe and share this video with your friends. Thanks a lot.